So, thankfully, he doesn't have to deal with that. And I got half of my matchup. Pretty excited about that. The Jack's going to be locked in. Zeus, a lot of different options here. The man has a very large champion pool. We'll see what he's going to be playing, because the Twisted Fate is left up and available, and it's awful into the Jack. So it kind of blocks that out as well.
I wonder if he's going to be happy to play something like a Camille here. I mean, they have a lot of lockdown with that. Jace, also an option I mentioned earlier. Very powerful with the Maokai, because the Maokai root sets up one guaranteed empowered shock blast to come through at the acceleration gate. Very, very strong into a matchup like the Jax as well. If played carefully, if played correctly. Similar to Gragas, you can, if you are in hammer form, just knock the Jax away. Play defensively up there. The Maokai is going to have a lot of power in this top jungle duo. On the bottom side of the map, I am very concerned about how Yun and CoreJJ's laning phase is going to go. If it was a Ziggs in the bottom lane with this Rakan, at least you'd have the wave clear to back it up. Azeri, though, going to feel very vulnerable down here. And if you set up a stun, get that Zenith Blade, the empowered Q coming through from Ezreal, hits the W on you. It's almost guaranteed when you have this much damage early too, and the Ezreal can poke out the Rakan. Very tough to play. I think the mid lane, as it kind of has been for Team Liquid so far this tournament, is really the key point here. How much of a lead can APA generate in this lane matchup against Faker? How much gold can he get with First Strike? What kind of leads are we going to see? Against Fnatic, he was able to take several turrets, tons of plates. He was too big to fail. Not necessarily sure that's going to happen against Faker.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, especially about the bottom side of the map. I can't keep my eyes off the Ezreal Leona into Zeri Rakan matchup. Just feels like T1 are going to have a field day down there. And like you say, APA needs to get a lead, but I feel like there's even more pressure being placed elsewhere on the map. And perhaps, we've been talking about these laners, but perhaps the general needs to come out and get something done. The man is pretty good at getting a couple of early ganks in, and maybe Umpty can be the key to victory here for Team Liquid. On the other side, I mean, T1, I don't think that there is much to critique, right? This is a very standard T1 composition. We've seen this ran so many times, and I imagine it's just going to be like clockwork that they're going to get this game underway. I think it's like, this is a great opportunity for TL to try and throw a wrench into the works, because game number one, it's a best of three. If you can get them unsteadied, that might be a way to take down the world champions. But it's a tough task. Let's dive onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Game one of our first semi-final between T1 and TL starts now.
Off we go, Atlas. I love these walkouts. I don't want to call them walkouts, because that's usually we refer to players, but the champion walkouts look so cool here. And his First Strike on the Ziggs. This is really common because he can generate a ton of gold early with this rune. And one thing to mention about the Ziggs, we talked about how he can kind of poke and harass the Azir, and how it can be a good matchup if played well. Umpty can kind of hover there. The Azir also is really good into fairly immobile champions like the Ziggs. Has his satchel charge defensively, of course, but if he gets Emperors divided, he will find himself in a lot of trouble. That's why it's really tough to play these types of mages into the Azir.
And what I have learned from like a lot of very one-sided conversations with Daniel Orcs Harrison is that if you use your satchel charge aggressively, you best believe that you have to be completely safe when you do so. And as APA is an absolute master of this champion, I imagine he's not going to be running into too many problems there, as high-value ward are in the top lane.
Yeah, looking like a lane swap situation here potentially for the side of Team Liquid. Now, Zeri can push turrets very quickly with her Q. If she is able to spend some time with it, can be quite strong, and the ability to grab plates is really good for Zeri in a lot of matchups. But Ezreal also has the ability to crush turrets with his W. His little hula hoop he's going to put around the turret is going to make that much easier. Zeus also getting involved early here.
Yeah, this is a little bit dicey as APA goes down to about 50%. The Sand Soldier's getting involved as well. And one of the most important things is that APA missed experience on a couple of these minions here in mid as well. So Faker with a lot more tempo than you may initially expect after APA is able to just wander his way back to lane.
Yeah, considering also that Zeus has basically, arguably 3 abilities at level 1. He's going to be able to do a ton with it. Push into that health bar. APA now in a bit of trouble. Zeus is going to come over here and put the harass onto Impact.
Yeah,
what happened when Ben TP'd bot last time.
Yep, you can see a little bit of spare time for the Zeri, but now the engage comes through. Impact does have the counter-strike, has of course skilled that one, As Gumayusi able to come on over, does pick up the turret aggro. They need to try and get this kill. As Guma goes down low, there's the flashes. Zenith Blade doesn't work. Core comes in. That is still first blood going over to Gumayusi, but can he keep himself alive? As Core JJ's got heal, he doesn't have the ignite. Never mind, there's the general. And they even out the scoreline. And now Carrier, I don't know, guys. I think he might be dead. He's kind of on the wrong side of the map, and he's trying to run his way out.
Zayas has to back, does have teleport here. Carrier definitely going to go down. A huge win here for TL. Ultimately, great flash of the Q by Impact. Buys just enough time. Everybody's so low on the side of Team Liquid. What they did to Bin in that BLG series after the TP, they will not do to Impact. A nice try there, but Impact just simply outplays it. Jack's a lot more difficult to die because of his Counter-Strike, because of his mobility. This ends up being a huge win for Team Liquid.
And the thing that I absolutely love about this is it goes back to what TL know about T1. And in their experience as well, T1 at MSI were not all that comfortable with lane swaps. They didn't quite figure it out. And yes, lane swaps have been nerfed. It's not the right way to play the game, but you can hide your bottom lane in this matchup and make things really lopsided, just like this as the buffer comes in from the Arcane Shift, but that means absolutely nothing. Core JJ able to get his way out as Carrier wants to try and get something started.
Look at this,
there
APA.
are so many minions here. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's just another one for TL.
TPing top as well. Not going to lose any of that top farm. Is going to be able to just leave Faker solo there in the mid lane, but killing Guma, denying his farm here, picking up some additional gold. Team Liquid pulling ahead quite substantially here in this game at very little cost to them.
And I mean, the one big cost is the fact that Owner is the one farming, and Umpty has kind of said, well, I don't care about my jungle. I'm going to try and get my lanes into a good spot before I take care of myself. The selflessness of a true bro player, as we know. And he has taken that to North America, and it's working out here so far. But you can see Owner has a whole lot more farm than what Umpty's been able to put together.
He's already got his Faded Ashes. Umpty sitting here at level 3, a level behind. Will be able to clear his top side of his jungle. He's got a lot of farm he can pick up there, so we'll catch up a little bit. Meanwhile, down here...
Yeah, it's a fair bit of damage coming through there as the Grand Entrance going to be Arcane shifted. Battle Dance to just make sure that Core JJ is going to be all right. And TL will pick up this wave as it heads towards them. I don't think T1 are going to be too phased about how this has gone, but I do think that it's a great boon for Yon and Core JJ especially, because we knew that this bottom lane was going to be very difficult to navigate, and you mess around with it, you like start these lane swaps and stuff like that. It does allow you to kind of hide that potential weakness in this matchup.
It certainly allows you to avoid the toughest parts of it for sure. And he has 20 minions down on his call already, Yun, so in a pretty good spot. But Carrier looking for the assist here on Owner.
Yeah, doesn't get the Zenith Blade after he blast cones in. Popcorn Chicken's going to be collected by Umpty, unable to get the last one, is now Gumayusi firing some shots towards Core JJ.
It's an action-packed game to start this off.
It is.
For sure. As Guma here going to allow this wave to push a little bit more as Carrier comes back. No way to punish that return here of the Leona. Super tanky. But they have kind of avoided, like you say, the 2v2 for its most dangerous parts. But now it's starting to normalize a little bit more. Now Guma is going to be able to catch up a little bit here in farm. Still down CS. We'll see what they can make of things. Faker, obviously a small benefactor of the extra time he had in mid lane there. Will be able to TP back to lane. Has a pretty big CS advantage himself. Once he catches this wave. So it's not all roses here for Team Liquid, but really great for the Zeri. And once that call finishes too, he's going to have so much gold as Umpty, maybe a bit alone.
Yeah, even the short fuse doing a fair bit of damage here to Owner, who does have mainly damage as the Mega Inferno Bomb comes in. The flash forward from the APA, but it doesn't matter. Faker just sweeps up Umpty, puts him into the death chamber, and now T1, they have full control of these grubs.
Yeah, really tough fight to take there, unfortunately, as Umpty. Yes, you have the Ziggs back up there, the Emperor's Divide in a choke point like that is going to be basically a guarantee. APA also using his flash means he's going to be more vulnerable once Faker gets that ultimate cooldown back. Carrier holding down the fort here as the lead continues to grow for the bottom lane of Team Liquid, but a huge bounce back now for TL. And the Jace matchup into the Jax, we haven't talked about this too much because we weren't seeing it initially in this game with the lane swap and all the shenanigans. Pretty good for the Jace because, yeah, you can counter-strike, but it only lasts for a little while, and the Jace will continue to have that range advantage over you. As we look at this play once again, Umpty pretty greedy here. He has APA to back him up. There's a satchel charge, right? There's ways to peel, but you just don't, unfortunately, have anything to deal with this Emperor's Divide. Owner has to use his flash, but it's well worth it.
It is. Faker able to just come in and collect the kill. Now back in the mid lane, as you can see here, CoreJJ moving on over. And not too much going to come of it. But still, if you look at the top of your screen, only 300 gold going to be in it between the two squads. TL still very happy about the game state right now. And I think as the game goes on, they have so many threats. We know Ziggs scales extraordinarily well. Jax in a side lane, almost unbeatable by what T1 has. And T1 themselves, a lot of team fighting availability, right? But I think that there is a lot of opportunity for TL in the later stages of the game if they can keep themselves competitive. But now Owner is trying to stop that. The grand entrance comes in. Yon just skates his way out. And the Nature's Grasp not really getting too much ground here against TL's bottom lane.
Yeah, not really. CoreJJ does have his Merc Treads, a huge part of this. He's able to get out very easily, despite the ultimate going down. Rakan, a very slippery champion, very difficult to lock down. Further issues here on the top side, as we were alluding to moments ago. Impact having a really tough time.
Umpty actually manages to steal away the Gromp here, as Carrier is going to come up and try to assist. Of course, we know CoreJJ in the area, so not going to be a full scuffle, but 2 camps going to be stolen by Sejuani. That is going to be great here for TL, especially when we'd already illustrated that Umpty was the one that had to give up so much in the early game, was behind a whole bunch of camps. I think it was like 5 camps or something like that, and has now evened things out entirely.
Yeah, True Sharp Barrage here is not going to amount to anything, but, you know, you miss every shot you don't take.
I mean, he still hit 2 people.
True. And a dragon as well.
Yeah.
So he's just helping them with their clear.
Yeah. So,
at the end of the day, it's worth that. It's worth trying that out. Obviously, you're not going to need that ultimate for anything right now. Both top laners just teleported back. So we have a very lopsided top side game state that's favoring T1. Bottom side, pretty huge advantages for Team Liquid. You mentioned Umpty getting that farm back, but Yon has maintained this CS advantage, has that extra kill, obviously in his belt as well. So he's up 500 gold right now in this bottom lane. And I think some proactivity is going to be needed here for Owner. Without his ultimate, you know, wasn't able to do anything in that interim, but maybe could make an impact here either top or mid as Guma continues to farm things out.
And do you know what I'm fascinated about, Wolf? I'm just wondering whether APA said anything in all chat yet. I am really curious. I imagine that Dagon and the gang are probably, you know, staying on the ball there. But I'm so curious as to what it is. Very much looking forward to finding out as Carrier and Gumayushi closing in onto Yon, but he's Zeri, so he just skates over the wall, and everything is absolutely fine. Now a potential gank here as Owner moves towards the top side, lurking in the fog of war.
Faker coming over to threaten that at the same time bottom there as, yeah, as you mentioned.
Ooh. Okay, will Impact move up further than he should, as they know Umpty is here as well, as there's the counter-strike. They start this one off. Nature's Grasp comes down. Glacial Prison comes in as well. Impact, the first one to be focused. The Permafrost comes in. Umpty not able to actually finish off the kill as APA. He turns up Mega Inferno Bomb, and that's going to be the kill for the Ziggs. Owner looking to run away. The short fuse. There's the satchel charge, and he closes the distance, and there goes the tree. Faker 1 versus 3, and even though these health bars are low, I don't know whether he's going to be able to take anything here if TL do decide to turn. And that is a great play from the North American representatives.
Absolutely. It was jungler versus top laner there on both sides of that fight until APA showed up. And it begs the question, how did APA get here? Because Faker is not actually denying his rotation. Okay, take a look. Impact over here, very low. Zeus has to flash, still gets permafrosted. It's the teleport here from APA, completely circumvents Faker. Faker a little bit late to actually come up here and deny the play, so teleport advantage to APA allows him to make this happen, and it's a huge win. Nothing Owner could do, no escape here. Even with Faker showing up with flash and ult, he can't turn the play. They will be able to get these grubs out of this, or at least a majority of them, as they have this choke point once again controlled with the Emperor's Divide. But man, what a lead for Team Liquid so far.
Yeah, it's definitely going well here in this early game. As we move towards mid, though, that's when things can get a little bit more dangerous. 4 grubs now collected for T1. I think a big deal for Zeus, who does so much damage on this Jace to turrets. You know, you sort of sit there in gun form, press your W, and you just wipe them out. And so definitely going to be something worth looking out for here as T1 try to accelerate into their 1 to 2 item power spikes, right? Like, this is what this composition is so incredibly good at. It's utilizing these early spikes. They might be able to get something done. Unless Umpty has something to say about it as he moves towards the top side. There's going to be the special delivery. He's been tanking up this turret for such a long time. Grand entrance is what locks it down. And the TL flare pops up above Umpty as he walks his way out. It's another kill for the North American squad. 6-2, the kill score now.
Yeah, Impact and Keria traded flashes down here on the bottom side as well. Looks like Keria trying to go a bit deep there potentially. We got the tail end of that, but they do end up trading flashes. Impact here just going to hold down the fort. Guma should get this plate relatively easily, but a Ziggs along with a turret is a big problem. Owner going to commit the ult here top side to try to chase him down, but won't be successful. And Atlas, this game is wild, but
it really
is the kind of early game we were saying Team Liquid could come out with some surprises. They could play a great early game. They could get a lead. They've checked all those boxes. It's what happens next around these next few objective fights where Team Liquid need to solidify this advantage. We saw them do it at MSI. We saw them get those advantages. We did not see them close the game out. But this Ziggs is so huge so early. Not quite as big as he was in the Fnatic series in game 1, but still going to be a huge problem here for Team T1 to deal with. And it feels like it's not just a hands dip, it's not just matchup dip, it's just macro calls here from Team Liquid. They came up with a clear plan here. The execution has been crisp, and that's what you love to see from a North American team taking on the defending world champions.
No, absolutely, and I want to go back to it. I think, like, commending the preparation is what we should be focusing on here, because Team Liquid, they did their research, they did their homework, and they came up with a great way to tackle this T1 squad. I think the early lane swap, even though they didn't get a massive lead, they put enough weirdness into this game to allow Yon to have a 20 CS advantage up against Gumayushi. APA going to get thrown underneath the turret here, but Umpty is there to protect him. Doesn't land the ulti though, and down goes the Ziggs. I don't think Umpty's going to die here, but CoreJJ finds himself on the wrong side of the map. Battle Dance gets himself out as Umpty comes on over and gives him a target to head towards. So it is just APA falling down, but it's T1 finding a bit more tempo here on this map.
Yeah, I think APA getting a little bit of greed there because he knew Umpty was nearby, but Faker flashing the Arctic Assault there. They have enough damage, and that's going to be the Dragon here going over to T1. It wasn't in the mid lane where he got punished on the Ziggs to this Emperor's Divide, but in fact in the sides. We're 1-1 apiece. Hextech Soul is the Dragon, an amazing Dragon for both teams.
Yeah.
You can see the Ziggs poke, but also the Ezreal and the Jace here for T1. I think we're going to see a lot of action on the bottom side of the map for these next few Dragons.
Not to mention Zeri. That's a lot of electricity, Wolf. It's going to be going everywhere as Umpty going to get slammed by the Bramble Smash, formerly known as the Arcane Smash. He's now going to use it on the Raptors. Looks like Owner is not going to be pursuing Umpty here towards the Herald. Baker does look to potentially start this one up.
He doesn't have TP, but he has the Hex Gate, so he can get over to this objective very quickly. And as we are going to start the Herald up as this replay happens, notice this, Emperor's Divide comes through, APA, no flash, and then Faker as well as Satchel Charge doesn't save him, flashes the ult here, the Glacial Prison, and is able to take him out. He doesn't feel too bad about it. He just knows he got outplayed.
Yeah. Don't lip read that. It was a naughty word. But still, it was a decent attempt, right? Because APA gets caught at just the wrong time with the Satchel Charge. Could have almost been him just getting out scot-free. And that would have been a huge advantage for TL. Not exactly the end of the world, though, for the North American squad right now, as they do collect themselves. The Rift Herald do T1. Zeus going to dodge the Glacial Prism, but that is another flash. Umpty is just flash police today. He's going around collecting all of them, and even though he lost his mid laner, he did collect the flashes of both of the solo lanes on T1, so maybe set up for some sort of fight here as we look towards the next Hextech Drake, or the first Hextech Drake of the game.
Right, and the scary thing about this game state here for T1 is that, yes, they've got great wave clear, they've got a Ziggs on the side, which is always terrifying. T1 will need to respect it, but T1 have the Herald, and the Herald can allow them, if timed correctly, to get a lot of control over that bottom side of the map. They were able to pick up the Herald top side, so they could just put their focus bottom, as long as this Ziggs isn't given too much free time with the turret. So Faker is going to be in this position where he's going to have to sit bottom kind of alone. They're going to hover top side here with Owner on this Maokai to keep the Ziggs at bay. The Ziggs gets locked down. Zeus has enough burst damage to take him out easy peasy. So this is where T1 really need to solidify their control over the bottom side. Keep that Ziggs away from the turret. They can stave this off for the next few minutes. Use that Herald correctly. They should have the Dragon start in their control. As Core JJ, bit of a Hexgate journey.
Yeah, this is somewhat aggressive as he's going to get stunned, but not before he gets over the wall, and that is going to mean that he survives and doesn't actually have to use too much of anything at all.
He's just teasing him this whole game.
Yeah, I was feeling a little bit nervous as more Hexgate shenanigans come through here. No outer turret on this bottom side as Faker trying to take the long walk to get out of the way of Umpty, who does have that ulti back up and available once again. Control ward in this brush. Umpty just going to settle for the Gromp for now as Yun hops into the gate and gets himself out.
Faker having the Sundisk, he feels pretty safe here, Atlas.
Yeah,
it looks
it's such a weird position though, Wolf, right? Like, it's just a lot of jostling. We're jostling right now.
Yeah, jostling, trades. I mean, Team Liquid showcasing great macro. Yun, see if he can avoid this.
Ooh, able to skate his way out. Yeah, really nice slide, actually. Takes Carrier for a ride with him.
Doesn't need to cleanse, but will take some damage here from that Mystic shot of Guma. Minute 40 until this dragon spawns. Herald at the ready. And this is where T1 will have a little bit of control for the first time of an objective fight. They had to wrestle it away in that first fight where they were able to pick Umpty there, force the flash out of APA. This time they get to start the fight on their terms. And for the first time in this game, it really feels like T1 can do what they want, right? Team Liquid have kind of pulled them into their world, what they prepared in the early game for a majority of this game. Faker also has TP, has gone to the top side here. Very dark up here, so Faker going to respect it. Umpty threatening. Yeah. Man, Team Liquid is so scary on the map right now.
Umpty is like, he is really pushing. He's trying to find any opportunity. As soon as anyone oversteps, he is there to try and counteract. And I love the proactivity coming out of the man. This is something that we have seen from him in the past, but it seems to be ramping up here in this game.
There's that Herald drop I was talking about here.
Yeah.
Lane from impact, but he's spotted.
Carrier going to be piloting this one as there's the grand entrance. They get the knock up onto the Leona, but not exactly a key target as the bouncing bomb doing a lot of damage here to Ona, who is pretty squishy on this Maokai for now. Not going to be the end of the turret, but it is very close to going down.
Faker going to go topside to try to catch that wave. A lot of minions lost, actually, for T1 coming down for that Herald play. Remember, he does have the teleport to go straight to Dragon, but T1, because they didn't get the turret, not confident to actually group for it faster. And Team Liquid actually gaining a lot of prio as a result. Looks like they may opt to try to just give this up, and this is quite wild to see. I mean, T1 had the Herald, they had an Ezreal pushing the lane. Impact has free control over the side right now as a Jax. And they're just making faster rotations right now. T1 need to make something happen here in mid lane, or this Dragon may be lost.
Well, Solar Play is going to come on through, but it's Umpty. He's able to tank that one up very comfortably. Mega Inferno Bomb is massive, and Ona just gets taken down. The Nature's Grasp finds absolutely nothing.
Yeah, just used defensively there, but gets nothing back. Owner is dead, and that should be Team Liquid pushing ahead in terms of Dragon control here. They had the control, they had prio, but they weren't happy with that. They wanted to pick, and they get it.
Gumiushi looking for an opportunity here. It's Core JJ. He finds that the quickness was on, and Yun's going to take him down. Inner turret is going to be a prize as well, as Faker was on the inner turret, but Impact is there to get rid of him. Outer turret and Dragon, and 2 kills here for Team Liquid. They are on a tear.
They are on a tear indeed. Massive lead in this game now. Second Dragon goes to them. They get 2 kills mid. They get the turret with the satchel charge. And, you know, we talk about Sejuani Ash, we talk about some of the follow-ups with the Sejuani Rumble that Genji fell, victim to yesterday, but Sejuani plus Ziggs Bomb is also a pretty big combo when the Ziggs is this far ahead, and it's just the Rakan setups here that we're constantly seeing found by Core JJ as well, the threat we had onto Guma. Look at this bomb damage.
Oh,
you're dead. No way out.
Just ridiculous, and then able to get himself out very, very comfortably, and this is the next one.
He says, okay, you eat forward, I'm going to jump to Yun, go in here with the flash, and look for the knock-up onto the Ezreal that has no recourse, and down Guma goes, down goes the turret. Team Liquid eyes on Baron control right now, and it just seems like T1 have no entry.
Yeah, and I think that they just need to tidy things up, right? Like T1... It was Faker on the top side of the map. The Azir is so incredibly powerful in these 5v5s if they do get to it, if they have the setup themselves to utilize Jace Poke, the range advantage that Gumiushi's going to have. But it's just the chaos that Team Liquid have been reveling in that's been working out. That one didn't quite so much, but it doesn't matter. Guma is just dead, and Zeus has to flash to get out of the way of the Mega Inferno Bomb. I don't know what that ultimate was trying to do, but I'm so scared of Umpty right now that I trust that it was something that was very important to getting that kill.
I mean, on his time on Breon, Umpty was famous for great Sejuani games where he didn't hit any ultimates. He's hit a few of them this game. He's hit a few of them this game, but you know what? It's enough with the bomb, the Glacial Prison. They end up getting another pick here. It's not yet enough to commit to Baron. They don't quite have the damage just yet. Faker going to come up here with Owner, see if Impact can get out, but he has Flash, he's Jax, he doesn't care, and he is just going to walk away. Meanwhile, over here, you can see this lane is getting pushed in, and the longer they spend time on the top side, they know Owner's here, he was spotted. APA is going to get some alone time with this turret. He's sitting on 2 items and a needlessly large rod. CoreJJ is threatening a dive.
Well, the teleport's going to come out, so CoreJJ not going to be able to utilize the quickness there, and he's just dead. Empress Divide going to pick him up. And the unkillable Demon King himself is going to come over and say, stop with the funny business, guys. It's time for us to find some advantages, and they're going to need to find a whole bunch of them as Faker going to have that back stopped. A little bit of a delay picked up for TL. We'll see what they can utilize with this added tempo that they do have now on the map.
And every time you do that with Ziggs, when you have first strike, you pick up a lot of gold.
It's so much money.
It's actually just gold generation. He's already gotten the turret mid right and done a ton of damage to the top side turret, and he's just farming up to the death cap. I mean, this is the kind of build you want to see on a Ziggs. I feel like Ox might have a bit of a golf clap on this one. No Archangels, just going
Where's
full
the
damage.
Leandries, guys?
I don't know if he needs it in this game. There's not really that many tanky members here on the side of T1, but Yarn.
Oh, yeah, there's the flash forward. Cleanse does come out. He skates over the small wall, and there's the flash as well. So T1 getting a lot of economy when it comes to the summoner spells, but unable to quite get the kill here.
Yeah.
See whether they can utilize that in the next fight.
Area also committing his ult, committing his flash to the play. Not going to come up with anything here. Feels like a pretty big win for TL. Assuming that there's no way to lock this Zeri down. It's been so difficult to catch Yun this game. 0 deaths so far. He's sitting on 2.5 items right now. The Runins, so valuable to clean up the kills after the Ziggs bomb comes through. They've got so much burst. They have so much control over this Baron pit right now. And T1, it's got to be a scary moment here. At least they have control of the Rift Scuttle here. There's no way they could do this Baron without T1 knowing. But this lead hasn't grown that much for TL, but yet their map control really has, and that's the scary part, is CoreJJ has been always threatening, Umpty always threatening. Never a comfortable moment in this game for the squad that won the World Championship last year.
Yeah, a little bit of a scuffle between Carrier and Umpty right now in the river, but I want to go back to the draft, because I want to look in at what our initial take was, is I'm going to be interrupted. That's going to be Zenith Blade connecting onto Umpty. Frost Armor and the Aftershock means that he takes less than a damage, and he's able to walk his way out. So maybe I'll have a little bit of a moment to have a talk about that draft take, because the one thing that I think, okay, never mind. Umpty just wants to continue making fights happen. So perhaps we'll just wait until after the game is over before we talk about things that aren't the game in this particular moment, because this is a 5-stack of T1 players trying to find a team fight in their favor. Impact, a potential flank angle if he looks for it, but right now walking back towards the top side, possibly an opportunity for T1 to strike as the Sun Disc is put up in mid. T1 just going to be protecting, but the amount of ranged wave clear and the safety that APA can do it from is kind of insane.
Okay, Faker's used his dash here. This is a scary moment for T1 to try to close the gap here, get through this choke point against Rakan.
Ooh, this is dangerous. They're a little bit split. Still the 4-stack of T1. 4 versus 3 if T1 do decide to pull the trigger. Is here towards the top side. Mega Inferno Bomb going to help out, and Impact just puts down Zeus here. He says, I'm the better member of that team. As, of course, it's been a very long time since he was one, but still, with the help of APA, they're able to create a big advantage in their favor. T1 not wanting to allow that to happen, and Solar Flare isn't able to interrupt the Hex Gate escape. And it'll be another Drake.
They just don't see it coming. So thanks for the ultimate. Thanks for the dragon. Thanks for the kill on the top side. I'm winning in 3 places on the map as Team Liquid. And you look at the way this plays out for T1 normally. They're so good at collapsing on sides. They're so good at reacting to these types of plays. So I think they really got caught with their pants down. But the long-range bomb from APA means there's enough damage to kill that Jace. They've got their eyes now on the Baron. Zeus does have teleport available. Faker's level 16. Ult at the ready. I don't think you should start this one up quite yet, Team Liquid, but threatening it is a good idea when you've got a Jax in the side. You've got a Ziggs up here in the top lane. But watch this play one more time. So Team Liquid down the bottom lane, jockeying for position on Dragon. They don't know where APA is, this, he gets to just set up a bomb here, and that alone is enough damage to give Impact the kill here topside. This long-range impact here, semi-global on the Ziggs. APA, a master of the champion.
Yeah, really beautifully played. Zeus almost dodging it to the skies there, but unfortunately not quite able to get far enough out of the circle. And so APA just taking names. And on top of that, Wolf, now he's got a death cap. And like you say, with this first strike, it feels like even if he just contributes a bit of damage to these things, he gets so much extra money. It's like losing to a Twisted Fate. You know, it's like he's just getting even more than me. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, every Q's a cannon minion.
Yeah, right? It's nutty. Okay, Ona taking a little bit of damage here as Umpty just going to push his way forward. And this is the best version of Umpty. The one that can just move into the enemy jungle and clear things out, because he will not change this playstyle. If they're losing, he's still doing this, but unfortunately, he's getting punished for it. This time around, though,
look how dark
absolutely the right play. And precisely, Wolf, this is so dangerous. Another classic Umpty ulti is going to come out. Doesn't find anyone on T1. Not going to find too many repercussions either, so going to have to wait for that one to come back up again, unless Carrier says that he's not allowed to. Still taking a lot of damage back, and look at that extendo beam.
Oh, yeah.
APA throws down another one, and now Carrier and Ona, they're not going to be able to start any fights here for T1. They're going to have to look for a bit of a reset, and once again, it is tempo moving in Team Liquid's favor.
Absolutely. You know, Umpty's ult misses, but you can get enough damage, and with that Ziggs bomb, JJ is constantly threatening here. The vision is so limited for T1. They have to leapfrog their way from brush to brush here to control this Baron. Jack's still pushing in the side lane here. They're going to try to come over and punish, but guess who's there? It's APA, who has, by the way, TP. So the macro game here for Team Liquid is absolutely immaculate. You love to see this level of control. Very different, honestly, similar in its oppression, but different to the way that Weibo got their advantages with the macro and vision control. Different from how Top Esports did it. The threatening picks non-stop. They have so many different ways to blow up single targets. Speaking of, Carrier a little bit out there.
Yeah, moving up just a little bit. There's an Infinity Edge on Yan as well. That's why he's doing so much damage right now. Ona moving on over. I do get information about that one. And Team Liquid strength to strength right now, not letting go of this amount of pressure. And I want to give you guys at home and those in the Cube, the Kadir Arena right now, a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Because in games like this, I like to commentate from the perspective of not T1, because I expect T1 are probably going to win this series. Now I feel like I'm running the risk of just seeming extraordinarily Team Liquid biased, because T1 haven't found that inroad back into the game just yet.
And when you look at some of the game states here, the map control that Team Liquid have had, Gumayusi just now getting his third item as Yun is approaching his fourth here on the Zeri, already has the IE. He's 2 levels behind, or was, he's now just 1, but will be 2 levels behind again here shortly as Yun clears up a few more minions. This is an immaculate lead from TL. This is really oppressive, and it's hard for T1 to get back into this game without a super play, and their play options are pretty predictable, right? You've got a Leona, you have the Maokai to set up Shock Blast if you're ahead, if you have vision control. Otherwise, you're just throwing roots in blind as owner here, so your opportunities are just so limited. It's so difficult to fight into this dark, barren region. And if you don't constantly check, if you don't constantly push in and clear those wards, Team Liquid could be doing the Baron. If you lose that against the Ziggs, it's basically lights out. They're so far behind in gold. A straight-up 5v5 team fight isn't going to be easy. It's going to take a heroic Emperor's Divide, an overextension. That's why Team Liquid are not pushing their advantages too far, playing it safe, playing around wave clear. They are grinding T1 out of this game.
Yeah, and T1 are just catching the waves where they can. You can see Faker down here towards this bottom lane, staying out of vision as he spots Core JJ on his way over. So, mid lane of T1 not going to be dying just yet. They're still not finding any inroads, right? So this is protection, but it's not being able to move the needle back in the direction that they want it to. And Umpty is still pushing forward. He finds that ulti as Core JJ gets into the backline. Guma in so much trouble, but he's able to arcane shift to get himself out of dodge. He'll stay alive, but he's out of the fight for the moment. As now Carrier trying to deal with Bristle, ridden by Umpty here. As Faker gets into that mid lane, but they're unable to really find too much. So keeping everyone alive, and that is the main thing, is T1. They're looking to get control of the Baron area.
Yeah, they call the bluff. They're like, oh, you guys think you can trade for Baron? I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to allow it. And they are going to rush over here. Carrier now down an ultimate, doesn't have flash here, but they are going to just try to rush it. Faker does so much damage to this Baron, but can they turn?
Yeah, full information now goes over to TL, and T1 are getting low. Mega Inferno connects onto 3, and that's with no setup as well as the extended beam comes on down. Faker looks for Yanni, finds the flash, and gets the Zeri in the end, but Impact will be able to take down his ex-teammate. Gumayushi still trying to fire forward, and APA, he's basically an 80 carry himself, and he'll be able to take down the Ezreal. 3 members of T1 left standing. Zeus, the last big damage threat, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. He's just going to be backing in this brush. APA is going to face check. Oh, the satchel charge is going to save the Ziggs with basically nothing. Yeah, there's those 2 thumbs up that we were expecting. And Zeus comes in, and he is going to be falling down. Leap strike from Impact going to get that one done. And TL, I think they're going to win this game, Wolf.
I think they are. I mean, Zeus is bought enough time for some of these respawns to potentially come through with Hex Gates, but Faker, 20 seconds left, no teleport. APA going to head straight back into the fray. Now has his Crypt Bloom online. He is just so huge again. And this is not just a Baron. This is a Baron to Hextech Soul play here for Team Liquid. T1 had to do their trademark Hail Mary Baron, but against that Mega Inferno bomb, they were all stacked up, and just look at it fly. They try to split like the red team they are in this game, but they're not going to be able to get out of the region. Meanwhile, over here,
yeah, a little bit more of a fight as the Nature's Grasp comes on down, but look at the AoE damage coming out of this Ziggs with 4 items. Extend the beam to finish off Owner, and even our observers were surprised by the damage that one did. Used to Maokai being a little bit more tanky than the damaged version that Owner is piloting this time around. And the Dragon's going to go down. That's Hextech Soul. Triple stack Hextech Dragons. Yon's going to have a lot of extra electricity as we're going to check this one out one more time. For reals this time.
Yeah, triple bomb here. Owner avoids it, but it means he's isolated here. Umpty says, okay, we've got our first target. Force him to flash. Look at the follow-up here from Core Data. Now, this is great from Zeus. Perfectly placed Shock Blast after Faker's ult comes out, so at least they take out the Zeri, so no real further damage could be done. Otherwise, Zeri maybe just runs away with this fight and they get even more. But still, it's a small prize here for T1 as end up knocking Impact out of this fight. Or Impact, sorry, knocking Zeus and Keria out of this fight. As Zeus buying so much time here, but it's still not enough to stop the Baron. It's still not enough to stop the Hextech Soul. And now the base is open. Looks like game 1 upset complete. Team Liquid completely unlocked here at EWC.
And it's their drafting, it's the gameplay, it's just TL are just looking extraordinarily good. Here at EWC, they're going to be breaking down this top lane inhibitor turret right now. Counter-Strike comes through and they just have all of the answers. These Ziggs compositions, just an absolute, like it's a symphony to watch them play these ones out. It's a well-oiled machine that we're witnessing as they make the push towards these inhibitors now. There's another Glacial Prison. This one going to connect as Mega Inferno Bomb onto 3 once again. The quickness locks them down, and APA takes them out. It's a double kill, as immediately it's the tanks, it's the front line, and they are removed from this battle completely. The bouncing bombs impossible to avoid as they just keep raining down on top of T1. I say impossible to avoid. I mean, they can avoid them, but they're just not that well. And he has about a half a second cooldown on that ability at the same time. So the Sun Disc, it's going to be removed. 2 inhibitors down, waiting for some super minions to make their way in.
The
Team Liquid,
so
I think they might just win it here.
I think they will. They've got this cannon minion here. Baron empowered. Still 25 seconds left here. Looking to back away. Yun very low on HP. Just let the Ziggs do his work. And they're going to bail out, back out of this one. So still hanging by a thread right now. T1, 12 kills down, 9,300 gold behind in this game. But if it's T1 that's alive, if the Nexus is still standing, there is still hope. But I just don't see an angle right now, Atlas. This lead is so huge. And the poke in this composition with Ziggs, with the Zeri Extendo Beam, it's just unreal. Is Keria maybe trying to bait something? I don't know where he's going.
He's going on Walkabout Wolf, and he's going to get satcheled back into the entire enemy team. And he will buy some time before he inevitably falls. Yun's going to collect that kill as well. So another one for the Zeri. 5, 1, and 3. 4 items. And a casual little critical strike cloak. And this, I mean, TL, they have every single card It's 9,000 gold the lead, but it's the Hextech Soul
Yeah, it's
that
Hextech
really
Soul.
is the icing on the cake.
I mean, I guess Keria bought some time on the wave. Usually when you see a jump out of replay like that, there's a reason, but doesn't end up accomplishing anything here. Now Faker getting chunked out.
Yeah, that's going to be Ona locked down. Does avoid the Mega Inferno Bomb nicely with a twisted advance. I like that, as the Nature's Graph doesn't do a whole lot, but Umpty has his health bar shredded down. So TL going to have to just wait for that Warmogs to chug it back up again, unless he does decide to go for a full reset there as well. I think realizing that health bar is going to be back up very, very quickly. And now back onto the push once again. Super Minions making their way in alongside this last remaining inhibitor turret. Last bastion of hope here for T1, because you lose 3 inhibitors against a Ziggs. I mean, you're just a sitting duck.
Especially when the APA has teleport available, he'll basically just two-shot the Nexus. If he gets a chance, he will just TP in and end it. It's all the AP he's got stacked up. Now even has that extra luxury arm guard, so picking him so difficult. Faker trying to find him with an Emperor's Divide means he could just Seeker's arm guard that. They have a Zeri who has GA. We love those purchases. And so picking her is actually quite difficult. She has Flash, she has Cleanse, and even if you kill her, you got to deal with the Ziggs. You got to kill her twice, by the way. Those are Jack's second TP in to end the game once he gets to teleport back up. T1 just have no way in.
There's just so much firepower. Like you were saying, I'm having a look at this Death's Dance Jax with 4 items completed as well, and some shoes on top of it. Okay, TL going to face check T1 right now as the Glacial Prison comes down once again. Umpty has been absolutely fantastic this game. APA layering the ultimate on top as well. T1 keeping themselves alive at least for the minute. Zeus gets the Hammer Slam back. Impact taking a bit of damage here as well as Extendo Beam. Oh my goodness, who's the poke champion now? As Jan is going to send Zeus back to the fountain. This last inhibitor still standing, but I feel like the clock is ticking on that one. Elder up in a minute, 25 seconds on the Baron. And I think TL, they're going to make sure that these waves are pushing in, take these neutrals, and carry Exodia towards the enemy nexus.
The Hextech Gate allows T1 to try to get in there. Uh-oh, Umpty's over here.
Yeah, finds Carrier. Not exactly an ideal target, but he'll take it.
But, I mean, there's just no way for T1 to really get to either of these objectives. They have the Hex Gate, so they can try to rush over and contest, but a teleport can end the game. Even with both Nexus turrets standing, if T1 get their back stopped here, APA can just end the game. So T1 have really crossed their T's, dotted their I's, as that's hopeful. Gumayusi with this true shot, as they're only going to leave 2 on Baron because Yun does so much damage while continuing to push these waves into the mid lane, stacking up super minions there. So there is just absolutely no way T1 can come to Elder. It's essentially League of Legends checkmate here right now with the composition of Team Liquid.
Yep, T1, I think the fight that has to happen on the Elder or on their Nexus. And they have elected for the Elder. I'll start that one up as it spawns. They have positional advantage, banana brush control, but Umpty just walks on in. Does not mind about this one whatsoever. They're all inside the pit. It is an absolute Thunderdome, but the Elder is taken by T1. Is this an opportunity? Impact says absolutely not, as they're getting torn to shreds. Carrier sliced down by the Zeri. And Team Liquid, they'll wipe T1 off the map, and they'll be taking game 1 right now.
Not a chance in this game, start to finish. T1 don't get to play their proactive playstyle. They don't get to play the Leona into the Rakan bottom 2v2. It was TL pulling the strings, the puppeteers of game 1, start to finish. A beautiful game. And
absolutely incredible
what an
stuff.
upset we saw.
Precisely. Can't wait to hear what the studio has to say about it. We're going to go to a short break, and we'll hear from them right after.